everybody. Hi, I'm with the amazing Jeffrey Gurian of Comedy Matters TV. And today we're going to talk about something very, very serious. Jeffrey has just recovered from COVID-19. He was in the hospital for 4 days and it was very serious. And I know a lot of people reached out and prayed for Jeffrey. So we are all just so grateful that he is feeling better. And he wanted to answer some of your questions about COVID, and maybe his journey and his struggle can help if anyone out there is feeling the same thing.
Thanks, Laura. First, I just want to thank people for the prayers. I'm a big believer in the power of prayer, and it really works. You know, I really believe in that. When you're so sick, those things are very important, to know that you've touched so many people and that people are thinking about you in those times. It's very, very difficult. This past 6 weeks has been really, really hard.
Now, so, Jeffrey is a doctor, but none of these recommendations should be taken as if he were your doctor. So if anyone is suffering from COVID, please go see their own doctor and get their own medical advice. I do not want to be liable for anything that Jeffrey says right now, and neither does Jeffrey.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a stroke of luck to come through this thing. This virus is a beast, and it attacks you on all levels. You know, for most people, it goes to your lungs, you know. That's how I wound up with double pneumonia. And I didn't know that I had that until I got to the emergency room, because I was sick for 2 weeks before I went. You know, I suffered at home for 14 days. I was nervous to go because I'm in a high-risk category because I've had problems with my heart in the past. And I was nervous to go to the emergency room because they always say that there are so many germs in the emergency room. And so I stayed home and suffered for 14 days until I just couldn't take it anymore. And I had to call an ambulance, and they brought me to NYU Langone in Manhattan. And those people nursed me back to health. It was an amazing, amazing thing.
Jeffrey, if you could do this again, which I know you don't want to,
No.
would you have gone to the hospital sooner, or would you have waited?
I couldn't have waited any longer. I was in so much pain. My whole body was aching. I was nauseous from morning to night. I had the kind of chills where your whole body is trembling. I couldn't even hold a glass. That's how my body was shaking. I had blood coming from my nose. I had every symptom.
Wow.
The body pain was incredible. My back pain, I couldn't find a comfortable place for myself. The nausea didn't stop. I tried taking Dramamine, which usually would work for me. Nothing worked. I was on Tylenol. I didn't have a good thermometer, which was so stupid. What doctor doesn't have a good thermometer? But you know, I had one of those old-time glass thermometers with mercury in it, and you can't even read it. I had no idea. But I knew I had fever because I was so warm, and I'd have these night sweats where the bed would be wet with sweat, and usually your fever breaks after that happens. But with this thing, the fever comes back again. It doesn't leave. When I got to the hospital, I found out I had 102.4. And when I was, like I said, that last night, I don't know how I got through it, but on the morning of March 26th, I had to call 911, and that's where the magic started. They came for me. The ambulance crew was so great. You know, this fellow, you know, they're all masked, so you can't see anybody's face really. But this guy took my hand, and he said to me, "Don't worry, you're going to be okay." And as simple as that sounds, it means a lot when you're feeling so sick. And he thought it was a good sign that I was able to get up on the stretcher by myself, that they didn't have to carry me. And he said he's seen a lot of sick people, but he said my physical presentation looked really good to him.
Mm-hmm.
I was so sick. I was just struggling. They strapped me in. They got me in the freight elevator of my building and wheeled me into the ambulance. And I asked for a different hospital. They said it was too far. They were taking me to NYU Langone, which worked out to be great because they happened to be doing studies there with that drug Plaquenil that people are talking about. And, you know, they, they're doing studies on it, and it hasn't been proven that it helped. It looks like it helped me. You know, they put me on it on my second day. My first day, I spent hours in the emergency room. And they were so nice, they even gave me a thermometer to take with me, which was really, really
Did,
cool.
did you tell them about your old thermometer at home? Is that how
Yes,
you got
yes,
it?
I laughed. I said, it's like it belongs in a museum. That old-time thermometer. My great-grandmother would have used it in Russia, probably. You know, it was even
Oh,
old school for her. And I laid there for hours, hours and hours. My blood pressure had dropped so low. You know, usually they say 120/80 is normal. My diastolic pressure had dropped to 42. And because of that, they couldn't eat. It was very hard for them to get into a vein to give me medication because I was begging for something to take away the nausea. That's all I wanted, just take away the nausea. They
oh,
went in through my wrist. They had to go into the veins in my hand in order to get into a vein. And usually my veins are really good. But I laid there for hours, and then pulmonary specialists came. They did a chest x-ray of me and an ultrasound of my lungs. And that's when they came back with the diagnosis that I had double pneumonia.
oh my
And
goodness.
they were actually considering sending me home. And I begged them. I said, please, I can't be alone anymore because I live by myself and I couldn't take care of myself anymore. It was just too much.
Now it's very scary because you had told me the other day that there were people, they've set up tents in Central Park for hospitals. Is
Yeah,
there is
the hospitals are so overrun that they're actually using Central Park as a base. They put people in tents. In the
wow.
hospitals, they have people in the hallways. So I was very lucky that I went they were monitoring us from like a central location because you're hooked up to all kinds of monitors, you
Wow.
know. And then after about 2.5 days, they moved me to another room. They needed my room for people who were sicker than me, they said, because I was starting, like, they took me off oxygen after my first day to see how I would do on my own. And my oxygen level stayed at like 95 to 96%, which they said was great. So they felt that I was stabilizing. And then they covered me with ice packs. Like I had ice packs on my head, under my arms, on my legs to bring my temperature down. When it hit 98.6, I was in tears. I couldn't believe it that, you know, that my temperature came down. I was so great. You're that
Yeah.
sick. I wanted to stay where I was, you know, but they're like, no, we have to move you. And they put me in a room with 3 other very sick men, which
Oh.
was really a trial for me. It
Uh-huh.
was very, very difficult. They were all very sick with COVID, pneumonia. One man had to be rushed to a ventilator. The other man on the other side of me was coughing nonstop, and I felt bad for him, but I was also worried about myself. He was just coughing into the air, and he was like choking on his saliva. It was a horrible experience.
That's so scary,
So
Jeffrey. Can you talk about the testing process at all? Because you said that you got it happened 4 times and
yeah,
it
I
goes up your nose,
three or
and is
four
it
times they put a swab, but it feels like they're touching your brain. They
oh,
they actually apologize before they do it. They go, "This is going to be uncomfortable," and I was like, "Just do whatever you have to do." I
was it
couldn't.
uncomfortable?
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable, but it doesn't last very long. But it's like if you can picture, you know, just sticking something so far up your nose, it's like crazy. And, you know, they were taking blood every couple of hours. And um, my diagnosis really came after they did the chest x-ray and the ultrasound. They saw my lungs. And, you know, luckily for me, I had been on Z-Pak for 10 days before I went, because when I first started to get sick, I felt something in my throat. I had like a sore throat. And when I have a sore throat, I start on Z-Pak. Luckily, I had it in the house. And I
Mhm.
really think that that saved me, because that's what they were using in the hospital. They were combining Z-Pak with Plaquenil and zinc.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and
So
I had,
you got so lucky that you went to a hospital that was doing that testing. That's really amazing.
yeah, I was very lucky because from what I've heard, a lot of hospitals don't even have that drug.
Yeah. That's my
And
friend's father. That happened to him. He didn't make it. So
it's horrible. So many people don't. And it's amazing that they just happen to have it. Now, it hasn't been proven that's effective, but it seemed to be working. You know, in science, they have to do tests on thousands of people. They have to do very detailed testing for a long time before they're willing to say that something works. Now
and how did it feel after? How did it feel after you took it?
I don't feel anything right away. It was just a gradual change. That look, when they sent me home, it wasn't because I felt great. Believe me, I felt really sick. I would have, if I had had a private room, I would have been happy to stay in the hospital for a few days. I didn't feel like I should come home. But they need to get you out when they feel that you're stable enough to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, we're going to make arrangements for you to get home. And they at first they said, we don't know if we can get an ambulance. And I'm thinking, how am I going to get home if I don't have, but an ambulance crew showed up and they gave me 5 minutes to get ready. I never got dressed so fast in my life. These people were also so nice. They wrapped me like a mummy to take me out. I'm like, please uncover my face. People are going to think I passed away. Like, they had my arms tied down. I couldn't move. And they wrapped me in sheets.
Oh my goodness.
They wheeled me to the ambulance. I couldn't even scratch my nose if it itched. There was no way. And I had a double mask with a shield.
Mm-hmm.
This thing.
Oh, that's great. So that's good that you have it though now.
I have it. Yeah, and I sprayed it with Lysol because just in case it had germs on it still.
Now, you talked to the hospital. Do you think you could get reinfected?
They don't know. That's the problem. I'm nervous to even leave the house.
And you called, did you ask them if you could go out, or what did they say?
No, I asked them, sure. I didn't ask if I could go out. I asked them if I'm immune or if I have a chance of being reinfected. And they said, to be honest, they don't really know yet. So that's pretty scary. Luckily, I haven't had to go anywhere. I have a very kind neighbor who's been shopping for me every couple of days. She's been an angel, unbelievable. And she just texts me, what do you need? And I give her a list, and she leaves it outside my door. And
what do you think?
It's been amazing. Yeah.
What do you think about all the people protesting and who want to go outside? If you could tell anything to them, what would you say?
Such a silly thing to protest against the virus. It's a germ. You know, while you're protesting, you could catch it. All you need to do is breathe in the wrong place. I have no idea where I caught mine. I wasn't in any particular dangerous situation, you know, it seems that all you have to do is walk by somebody that has it. So I think I understand the frustration, but I don't understand how people can argue against the virus. You see how many people are dying from it. You know, if you go outside, if you're in a group, not only are you endangering yourself, but you're endangering other people and people in your family. Just, not everybody's smart, you know?
Yeah. Now, I asked you this before we were talking, you know, would you go back and see your family after, if you test negative for the virus?
I don't know if I'm going to be tested to find out if I'm negative. I'm going to wait another couple of weeks. I'm not rushing to see my kids because it's a nightmare to think that you might spread something to them. So we talk on the phone and we do FaceTime and I see the kids and that's great. But I'm not in any hurry. You know, when all this is over, we're going to have the biggest parties in the world. People are going to celebrate like it was the end of World War II.
Would you say this was the sickest you've ever been? Besides,
no question about it. It was much worse than the heart attack.
Wow.
Absolutely. The sickest I've ever been. I've never been sick. It's 6 weeks today, and I'm just feeling strong enough to talk to you on this call.
Wow. Now, are you taking vitamin C? How are you eating to get over this?
I'm eating every few minutes. I'm eating. and I'm taking vitamin C and vitamin B and a whole bunch of vitamins and supplements. Yeah, I'm back on my regular schedule. For a while, I couldn't swallow pills. I was just taking my heart medication because everything made me feel nauseous when I swallowed it. So, but now I'm back to taking everything.
Is there any breathing exercises, or how's your breath now?
Unfortunately, I didn't need that. My breathing was fine. And again, I think that was the Z-Pack that helped me with that.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jeffrey. Guys, I'm so excited Jeffrey took the time. I've been praying for you this whole time, so I'm so grateful that you're okay. And I've been posting pictures of you all over my social media, so everyone was like, "Oh my goodness," sending you prayers.
Thank you so much, Lauren. You're a very important person in my life. We go back. Well, I think you even said it. I created your very first
Yeah.
YouTube video, and now you're a YouTube sensation. Besides
Yeah.
being an actress and a comedian and all those other things. So we have a wonderful history, and I thank you so much for your support and your love and your prayers. It means a lot.
Yes. When now I know Jeffrey, guys, Jeffrey would post every single day on his social media before this virus happened, and he'd post the funniest videos on his IG, on his YouTube channel. And I used to go every day, and that's how I knew something was wrong, because I realized he wasn't posting on social media.
Gurian, Gurian, as in Nancy, Jeffrey, Jeffrey. They'll see all that stuff. And if they go to Comedy Matters, youtube.com/Comedy Matters TV, I have over 500 videos with Jimmy Fallon and everybody in comedy, including you. Everybody's on there. So if they like interviews with comedians, inside stuff, they check it out.
Check out Jeffrey, guys. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. And I can't wait till this is over, everybody, so I can go watch him on stage doing stand-up, and we can all have one big party together. I cannot wait.
Absolutely. That'll be an amazing day. Thank you so much, Laura.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you. Like, and definitely share this video with somebody who may be struggling with COVID right now. I feel like just hearing what Jeffrey did to overcome it can help other people out there, other families that are also battling this horrible disease, virus. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.